Alright, folks. Welcome to the TheIntelFrog Report for Thursday, December the 15th, 2022. Let's get started over here in ADSB Exchange. We're sitting at 335 aircraft up at the moment. That's military aircraft only. Let's see what catches my eye here. There's a fighter here over New England. Where'd that take off from? From Barnes, Massachusetts, it looks like. F-15 McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle. Those of you not sure what an F-15 looks like, it's a dual-engine fighter aircraft. Let's see what else we got up. A pair of KC-46s here. Looks like they're passing gas back and forth, or they're waiting for some targets. Maybe that's where the fighter's heading up to. Kind of looks like it's on that general trajectory, heading that way anyway. Got a B-52 up just south of Minot, North Dakota. Looks like he's doing laps around Minot. There's a big B-52 base there. Alright, let's take a look and see what else we have up. Got 3 P-8s up. 2 of them are heading back to NAS Jacksonville. One looks like it's heading back to NAS Whidbey Island in Washington. We got 2 E6s and 2 E4s up. E6 is the U.S. Navy communication plane between the U.S. Navy Command and submarine fleet. In the secondary role, the E6 also has the ability to order the launch of the ICBMs as well, Airborne Launch Control System. This on the screen, this is what an E6 looks like. Big white plane with 4 engines. Some of them have a hump on the top, some of them have 2 humps. Those are for satellite communications. And E4s, if you're not familiar with those, are the Doomsday plane. Big white plane with a blue stripe down the side. This is the aircraft that, in the event of a nuclear attack, the President, Secretary of Defense, what's called the National Command Authority, comprised of those 2 and their staffs, would go on this plane and direct the counterattack. No RC-135s up this afternoon. That's a little odd. There's usually at least 1 or 2 up working out here in the Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota area. 29 tankers up. That's KC-10 extenders, KC-46 Pegasus, and KC-135 Strato tankers. And as you can see, they're spread all across the country. Pretty evenly distributed, it looks like. Sometimes fighters are getting fuel from them. Sometimes they're fueling C-17s or other aircraft. Sometimes they're fueling classified aircraft that the public doesn't know about yet. .46 heavy lift aircraft up. That's C-5 Galaxies, C-17 Globemasters, and C-130 Hercules. That's right on probably about average. It seems 40 to 50 seems to be about average for the middle of the day for them. Let's take a look over at Europe and see what's going on over there. 14 aircraft up. That's a little low, but it is, let's see, about 6 o'clock in the evening there, later for Eastern Europe. So that's not too unusual. Let's take a look at special use airspace, active special use airspace. Red is the active. The light blue is going to be active in 4 to 8 hours. So it looks like we've got a lot that's getting ready to be active, but not a whole lot that's active currently. Let's look at ForeFlight and see what we've got. Looks like POTUS is going to be spending the weekend in Wilmington this weekend. TFRs are posted up for today. I'm sorry, for this weekend. For tomorrow or this evening, through 2 o'clock tomorrow, and then from 9:15 tomorrow to 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, or on the 19th. I'm sorry, on the 19th. See if we've got any missile test areas or anything like that that catch my eye. Don't see any CONUS. Let's take a look over towards Europe and Asia. Don't see anything up here. We do have a Cobra ball. That's at Suda Bay, Greece. That's a ballistic missile tracking plane. I think it might have had a maintenance issue because it tried to come out the other day and didn't even make it to 10,000 feet before putting itself in a hold and then ultimately coming back to Suda Bay. We haven't seen it since, so must have had some kind of maintenance issue. Interesting. We had a aircraft mishap at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. B-2 stealth bomber, which is the plane here in the center. B-2 stealth bomber had an in-flight emergency and then veered off the runway and ended up wing down off the runway and was involved in a post-crash fire as well that the base fire department put out. No injuries. Everybody walked away from this with no injuries, the pilot and the co-pilot. Currently, the Whiteman Air Force Base runway, the only runway they have, is closed. There's no estimate on when they'll be reopening that. If it's anything like the incident in September of 2021, it'll take several weeks before they can open their runway back. There are 20 B-2 Spirits housed there at Whiteman Air Force Base. Currently they have only 18 with this mishap now, 18 serviceable. One of them was damaged in another mishap that was very similar in September of 2021. It's currently at Palmdale being repaired. There's an image of the B-2 from September of 2021 that veered off the runway. It looks like the landing gear collapsed. I'm not sure if we found out what the cause of that was ultimately yet or not. I'm not sure if the investigation's done. Oh, there we go. Faulty landing gear springs led to B-2 bomber crash last year, the report finds. So it sounds like the landing gear collapsed underneath the aircraft as it was landing. Now, this latest incident, there was an in-flight emergency, the nature of which the Air Force has not released yet. But there was an in-flight emergency, and on landing, the B-2 experienced some problems and ended up in a very similar orientation, wing down, off the runway. Let's take a look around the Navy, see where all the Navy ships are at today. We've got the Nimitz out in the Pacific off the coast of California. LHD-5, that's a landing helicopter dock. It's USS Baton off the east coast here. They're probably doing workups, getting ready to go on a deployment. George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group is still in the Mediterranean or the Adriatic there between Greece and Italy. Now, some elements of the Carrier Strike Group have already returned home. There was a ship from Naval Station Mayport that returned last week, and I can't think of the name of it. If it comes to me, I'll bring it up. The Macon Island down here in the Philippines, and then the Ronald Reagan and USS America, LHA and Carrier Strike Groups are in Japan. Let's take a look at news around the services. Last Friday, the Air Force tested a AGM-183 ARRW. That's air-launched Let me find it. Air-launched rapid response weapon. This is a hypersonic weapon. We tracked the Missile Defense Agency flights that went off the coast, along with the NASA WB-57, and then Spotter Task Force 23 on Twitter. They had it in the article here. There it is. Snapped an actual photo of the B-52. It wasn't showing on ADS-B at all, but snapped a photo of it with the... see if it'll open up here for me. You can see on the photo, it actually has the weapon on the left pylon. Give my computer a second to load here. Yeah, that's not a great picture. It's so distant, but you can see right here the ARRW, the hypersonic weapon, is just mounted to the left pylon, ready to go. So that was the first good test that we've had of it. Successful all the way through its stages. We've had baby steps, but no full test. This was the first full test. If you were listening to the show on Monday, there was a shooting at Fort Stewart in Georgia. The Army said soldier was fatally shot at Fort Stewart. We now know that it was an Army sergeant who was an Afghanistan veteran. Sergeant Nathan Hillman of Plum, Pennsylvania, was killed by a gunman at the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team of the 3rd Infantry Division at their complex. I don't believe they've released the name of the shooter, and if they did, we probably wouldn't give it out anyway. Navy names the next amphibious ship the USS Fallujah. This will be an LHA landing helicopter. I forget what LHA stands for. But it's a mini aircraft carrier is what it looks like. Carries F-35s and some helicopters, as well as some MV-22 Ospreys. So this one, I'm not sure when they're going to break ground or lay the hull for this one, but they usually do that about a year after they pick the name. Missing sailors headed to Florida found safe, according to the Coast Guard. 2 men left Cape May, New Jersey last month in a 30-foot sailboat, and this is a picture of the sailboat here, heading to Florida. They were heading to Marathon, Florida, and they were reported as overdue by their family, and the Coast Guard started a search for them off the coast of Florida and North Carolina. They were last seen in North Carolina. Family and friends ended up talking to them, and they found that it was found without fuel and power, rendering their radios and navigation equipment inoperable. It was located 214 miles east of Delaware after the men waved down a tanker vessel, according to the Coast Guard. So 2 more lives saved by the Coast Guard and a merchant shipping vessel. Marine Corps news, the 2024 transfer of Okinawa-based Marines to Guam is on course. They're relocating about 4,000 Marines from Okinawa to Guam in 2024. This is part of a shift of about 9,000 troops that are going to be moving from Okinawa to Guam and Hawaii. This was scheduled or planned since 2006. Now, COVID was a problem with contractors on Guam, so it slowed progress down for quite some time. I think the original date that they were supposed to begin this shift was in 2022 or 2023, and it got pushed back because of COVID. But they're saying everything's back on track now, and we're sailing towards a 2024 transfer to Guam. In the U.S. Space Force news, U.S. launches a new space unit in South Korea amid North's growing threats. In Seoul, U.S. Forces Korea announced the U.S. Space Forces Korea as the second overseas space component of the U.S. Space Force. Will be tasked with monitoring, detecting, and tracking incoming missiles as well as bolstering the military's overall space capability. It will be led by Lieutenant Colonel Joshua McCullion. So that's cool. A new post in Korea for the U.S. Space Force, and probably with good reason, with North Korea firing off so many missiles lately and becoming unpredictable. It's probably a good thing we have a force there that can monitor that. All right, folks, that's going to be it for the TheIntelFrog Report for today. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave me a comment, and let me know how you thought of the video. And we'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.